Afternoon everyone, thanks very much for coming to the final press conference for Friday's MTK Fight Night. Belfast's Ulster Hall is completely sold out, so you don't need the hard sell from me. The people have spoken. Massive night of boxing for the city again. I'm sure you saw another big night in London last weekend. Sky Sports covering an MTK Global show, and this is sold out. So we'll bring in the promoter Lee straight away. Lee, sold out shows, you've got Sky Sports interviews, your big hero Eddie Hearn championing you. I'm sat next to a minor celeb now, aren't I? But what's it like to be doing all this, and how quickly are these shows growing?
I wouldn't go minor celeb, I'll say fact. I wouldn't go minor celeb, I'll say it's just a fat kid enjoying his job. Fat kid enjoying his job. It's great for all the shows being sold out. I mean, we've got Maidstone sold out. Obviously, this show is sold out. We've got probably looking at Glasgow's going to be sold out for Cash Farouk versus Lee McGregor. It's great for MTK to be getting their shows on Sky Sports with the golden contract. It's just absolutely madness to think of where we come from a couple of years ago and how it's growing. So it's a great show this weekend. Really looking forward to it.
We know it's We know it's another big bill on Friday from the fact we're already out of tickets. There may be some fighters that have a few, but we're all sold out. Ulster Hall will be jam-packed on the night, but what stands out for you in terms of the matchups?
It's the main event. The main event has got the juices flowing for everybody. Jay Harris, Commonwealth and European champion, versus Paddy Barnes, a triple Olympian, former world title challenger. Both fighters are with MTK. It's going to be a great fight. Everybody's talking about it, and there's big things ahead for the winner. The winner's going to go on and fight for possibly world title eliminators and bits of like that. So it's a great opportunity for both fighters. Sean McComb versus Emiliano Dominguez, former IBO world title challenger. Another massive step up for Sean. He just fights anybody. He don't even care. You just give him a name, he goes, yeah, no problem. So also we've got the debut of Paddy Donovan, 13 times Irish champion. Also former WBO world title challenger Terry Flanagan versus Michael Anser. Also, the pick of the fight of the night for me is going to be Lewis Crocker versus Ohio Khan, which is going to be on in the undercard. Some great fights. I'm really looking forward to being a part of another great night in the Ulster Hall.
Great stuff, Lee. Just pass this down to Lewis. You mentioned a 9-time Irish champ there. There is one of those on the bill as well. I think Pierce O'Leary, a Dublin star that we're looking forward to watching for the first time. But one guy who's already caught a lot of headlines with his heavy hands, particularly a vicious left hook, is Lewis Crocker. Lewis, not seen you for a while, and since I believe you've changed trainers, you're back with people like Stephen Donnelly, Paddy Gow, Conrad Cummings. So what's the mood like in the camp leading up to this one?
Yeah, it's great. You know, Conrad's fighting on Friday. We'll have Owen and Dave fighting the day after with Donnelly in there. We won the Ultimate Boxer, so all trained together, all around the same weight. Great sparring, so you know we're all pushing forward and we're a great camp.
Who's the king of the sparring hill at the moment?
Oh no, we're all the same.
The Belfast scene is something you're playing a pretty big part in, and presumably going to play an even bigger part in moving forward. What does it mean to be part of a sort of group of very promising young fighters in this city?
It's class, you know, it's humbling to be at the table with some of these lads, and this will be the third time, you know, for Hall, and the atmosphere is unbelievable. So you know what I mean, keep winning, keep getting shows back to Belfast, and I'm really looking forward to the future.
Bit of buzz about your already plans for the next 12 months. I guess you're looking at regional titles.
Yeah, definitely. You know, get this one out of the way and then speak with Team MTK and see what they have planned for me.
Great stuff, Lewis. If you can pass the mic down, we'll play musical microphones again. As mentioned by Lee there, we do have a potentially dazzling debutant in Paddy Donovan. Top rank, don't just sign anyone, and they've jumped all over this boy from Limerick. I guess and also a great endorsement is the fact that a former world champion in Andy Lee has dived straight into management and training. So Andy, you're probably best to introduce Paddy to us. Tell us a little about why you're working with this young man.
I've known Paddy since he was a young kid, and he's been winning everything from the age of 11. I met him more recently at the senior final fight, which I thought he won. But I said to him that like, this time next year you'll be fighting in Madison Square Garden. Forget about the National Stadium. But he's an exceptional talent. He has an X factor, something that you can't teach. But as well as that, he has very good fundamentals, basics. And for me as a coach, there's not much I have to teach him. It's not a huge job. He does things naturally. He's a hard-hitting puncher. And he's going to excite a lot of people. Outside of that, he's a very, very nice young man, gentleman, very respectful. And it's a privilege for me and him to be fighting here in Belfast, which is probably the best fighting town in the world. Gloucester Hall is a historic venue. And this is the first step in a long and successful journey for Paddy. And it's great that Paddy's family and friends would come here to witness him box and say that they were there in his first fight. And obviously, thank you to Top Rank and MTK for working together and giving us this opportunity. Paddy's fight will be streamed live on ESPN in the United States and also on YouTube all around the rest of the world. So it's a huge platform for him as a debutant, and I hope we'll see. Look, I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but he will excite people, and he's going to go a long way. That's all I'll say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andy. Let's hear from the man himself, Paddy. Quite a buzz about you already, Paddy. Give us an idea of what it's like from your perspective to be making your debut on a platform like this.
Yeah, it's a special day, you know. I've heard a lot about Ulster Hall. I haven't even been inside it, but I've heard a lot about it, and I'm very excited to start my career in it. We've trained hard, we've prepared well, me and Andy. We've worked on a lot of things, and I'm just ready to show the crowd what I can do.
Great reviews about everything you've done inside the ring, and Bob Arum has complimented you outside the ring as well and called you the best looking fighter since Muhammad Ali. So are you the type of character that enjoys that kind of sort of full package attention?
Yeah, sure. If people are going to say that, I take them compliments all day, but what's the main thing for me is what I do in the ring.
Will you feel any pressure on the night underneath the sort of top ranked banner, and a lot of people talking about your 13 national titles, as we mentioned? Will there be excitement, or will there actually be a few nerves the closer it gets?
There's nerves in every fight, but I'm very excited to get out there and fight and show the crowd what I can do and what I've prepared for, what I've been doing all my life. I'm just ready to do what I do, you know.
Lastly, very quickly, what does it mean to have someone like Andy Lee next to you?
Andy's helped me a lot since we worked together. He's helped me a lot inside the ring and outside the ring, and he's a great guy, and I love working with him, and we've had a good moment so far, and I hope we continue that.
Thanks very much, Paddy. We look forward to seeing you set your stall out in the Pro Rex on Friday.
Thank you.
One man who's already secured a world title and been to the top of the tree is Terry Flanagan. Perhaps one of the most underrated fighters around, in that mainly primarily because he never talks smack, I think is what the cool kids call it. But nevertheless a world-class operator, and he's back against Ghana's Michael Ansa on Friday night. So Terry, you bounced back with a ruthless stoppage last time against maybe a similar opponent, but this looks like a slight step up again.
Yeah, it's similar to the last guy, but he's not the best technical like the last guy wasn't. He's a bit bigger physically, a bit stronger, and yeah, I'm expecting a good fight.
What does it mean to be fighting in Belfast, which over the course of the last year has been described as the fight capital of Europe?
Yeah, it's something I've always wanted to do, boxing in Belfast. I mean, I have a lot of family that come from Belfast. I mean, I was raised there, and yeah, it was always a dream of mine to come over there and fight here, and you know, I'm glad that MTK provided that for me.
And given you're so recently a world champion yourself, I guess 2020 is about chasing more world titles, and Friday night's about making a statement and sort of sending messages to those world champions. Is there anyone specifically you'll be targeting?
Not really. I mean, I want to get back down to lightweight, and that's the plan, to go and box for the world titles at lightweight. I mean, won't be long before Lomachenko vacates them all, and I'll get in the mix to fight for one of them. But yeah, anyone really hopefully I can get back to title level. That's what I'm in the game for now, to be boxing for world titles. I've been there, done it. I don't want to step down. And sat down with my coach and said, "What do you think? Have I still got it?" And he said, "Yeah, you've not lost anything, and still, if not a better fighter than you was." So yeah, it'd be good to have this push now, look good in these few fights, and then obviously go and win another world title.
Still got the turbo gear, that's good to know. Well, we look forward to seeing you crank up to that gear again on Friday night. We mentioned earlier the city is flying when it comes to boxing, and this is sold out. One of the leading lights of it has been Sean McComb, whose face you may have seen. Do you want to give us a quick blast of the famous face, Sean, for the cameras? There it is. So you may have seen that several times. He's been producing some stunning victories. This only his 9th fight. He's already going up against the former WBC Latin champion. Sean, any fear in these huge leaps you're taking forward?
No fear, just enjoying it as we go along. Very confident in the game plan that we produce from the gym, working with Danny and Dom, and very confident in our ability to overcome these challenges.
Tell us a bit about the camp, because it's so busy at the moment. Both Tyrone's in the global contract, yourself fighting Waz, Sam Maxwell's getting famous off the back of that brilliant late stoppage. So it's just non-stop really for Danny Vaughan's stable.
Yeah, James buzzing, we're all working off each other. The house is packed. I'm left to do the cleaning and the cooking, while Paddy's sitting in his room making all the hidden sweets down the side of his bed. But straight. No, but yeah, the house is buzzing, the gym's buzzing. We all have a goal now where we're going. We know what direction we're all going in. You see Wazim was out, and Wazim's a newcomer. He was in Dubai fighting our first round knockout. Paddy, massive fight coming myself. 2 thrones the golden contract, and Sam working still obviously putting a video up of his knockout every 3 to 5 days. That was it. There's 5 million views on it, and he's viewed 4 million. So yes, the gym's buzzing, the atmosphere's good, and all the lads are loving it.
I guess people are going to start demanding you're fighting for titles yourself, given the level of opposition you're facing. How soon will you feel ready for that?
I'm ready now. It doesn't seem much super lightweights on the balls of fit me, to be honest. And I don't blame them either. I've nothing to come to the table with, flipping the tables myself, but it's only a matter of time before I'm made mandatory, and I have to take the challenge.
Was it a super lightweight that gave you that slight black eye? Do you want to credit him on camera?
Sarah Osborne, he wasn't super lightweight when I was sparring him, he was fucking middleweight.
Great stuff. Good luck again on Friday night, sure. The main event is a crucial title clash at flyweight, IBF Intercontinental crown on the line. 2 men who respect each other greatly, sparring partners. But on Friday night, I think you're going to see a bit of a war between them. We're going to start with the local hero, Paddy Barnes, 2-time Olympic medalist, needs absolutely zero introduction by an idiot like me in this city. So, Paddy, hometown fight, big title on the line. It could suddenly push you straight back into world title reckoning. I guess this is a bit of a dream scenario for you.
Yeah, definitely. To get a fight like this in the hometown, it's fantastic. I don't really care about the title, to be honest with you, because it means nothing to me. But when I win this fight, it'll give me possibly a straightforward title shot. I'm sure Jay feels the same. You know, if he wins, he should be getting the world title shot too. So the titles of the wee shitty belt really means nothing. But it's all due to the ranking, and you know, both our styles are definitely going to gel, and it's going to be a brilliant fight for people to watch.
I hope the IBF guy isn't here. With Jay, it's someone that you've spent lots of rounds sparring. You know him well. Presumably, neither of you would have taken the fight if you hadn't seen things that you thought I could exploit there if we ever fought each other. So, what areas do you think you hold an edge over Jay in?
I'm telling you. Sitting beside you, you might know. No, like, me and Jay's sports are, he helped me out for world title fight. He was a very good sparring partner for me. good come forward fighter. So when it was offered the fight, I actually was hemming and hawing because I was thinking, why would I take this fight? Because I'm moving down to light flyweight. I win this take the flyweight, then some people in line for a world take the flyweight when I want to light flyweight. But it was too big of an opportunity to turn down. It was giving European combat titles at stake, but which aren't at the minute. But Jay's 16-0, high ranking of all the governing bodies, so it was no brainer, you know, take it straight away.
Just lastly, on Jay coming over here, you're obviously a huge hero in this city, and the Ulster Hall can get very loud. You're a step up perhaps in quality of opponent. Do you think maybe the environment Jay's going to be fighting in is something he might find tough as well?
Possibly, I'm not too sure. Just I don't know. But for myself, you know, I fought all around the world in massive arenas and small arenas, packed out. So you know, for me, it has no effect me whatsoever. Emotionally, nothing. You know, I'm an experienced fighter. Jay's experienced himself. I'm sure he can deal with it too. But you know, I can sit here and talk shit all day. But the main thing is the fight is going to be a brilliant fight, and I'm sure the fans can't wait to see it.
So Jay Harris over from Wales, unbeaten, EBU champion, Commonwealth King, a real hope of a world title for Wales. Jay, you've heard what Paddy has to say. How do you respond to the sort of questions he'll pose you in the ring?
And well, me and Paddy, we sparred together. We have massive respect for each other. But there's no bad blood or anything. It's just what it is. We're gonna fight, and one of us is gonna win, one of us is gonna lose, and one of us is gonna go on to world honours. No, other than that, it's gonna be great fight for everybody, I think.
Given all that Paddy achieved as an amateur and his pedigree, undoubted technical talent, how big a step up is this for you, and how have you approached it differently as a result?
To be honest, I think this fight is probably the biggest fight I've had. He's been to 3 Olympic Games, so having Paddy on the record is massive. And having myself on his record is probably just as big as well. But yeah, 3 Olympic Games, yeah, it's a big name. It's a big name on the record, that is.
I guess all that's left for you, if you come through Friday night, is heading to world level. Which of the champions have you assessed the most closely?
To be honest, they're all pretty good. They're world champions at the end of the day, so they have to be good. But any world title fight would be great for me.
Superb. Thanks to all the fighters here. We're going to open up, that's all the questions from me obviously, we're going to open up the floor to any questions from journalists and media here. Just raise your hand. Yes, David.
Paddy, you said that you intend to go back down to light flyweight. Is this maybe almost like a free hit, this fight, if you know what I mean?
You could say that, yeah, because my plans were light flyweight. I got a phone call and asked me to fight Jay Harris for the European combat titles. Actually, I thought about it for a while, but it shouldn't happen. But then I was talking to the team that, you know what, just to give it a free one, you know, I'm fighting the European champion and fighting the hometown, a flyweight. The winner gets basically a world title shot, so it really was no winner.
How much did that win actually the last day after what happened a couple of fights before, but getting back on the winning trail? What's that done for confidence here?
It's done with confidence, good to be honest with you. The performance absolutely terrible, but really I wasn't focused on performance. I just needed my hand raised. You know, coming off the back 2 defeats, one to a world champion, one to a bantamweight in America. But I was just so happy to get that win, regardless of performance. And I feel I'm on a bit of a roll, even though it's one fight, but I'm back to winning ways.
Any more questions?
Just to Jay, Jay, how did you feel that you performed against Paddy in that spar? Did that give you confidence going into this fight?
We had 2 great spars. I'm not giving any more details about it because it's behind closed doors. Paddy will tell you himself. We had 2 days of really, really good sparring together. And I'm just glad to help him out for his Rosales fight.
Any more for any more?
In terms of, play for yourself, Lee, just in terms of the WBC flyweight title, there's talk of Charlie Edwards moving up, so that could become vacant for nearly the winner of this.
The WBC title they've announced is going to be between Martinez and Rosales, looking like December the 13th, so that title's out of the way, but this is for the IBF Intercontinental. But this is for the IBF Intercontinental, and the winner will probably go top 5, so that the winner will be obviously target an IBF final eliminator. And Jay's got a mandatory, which is Mohammed Abadi, who's number 6 in the IBF. So there's a possibility of the winner's going to get a great fight and look to get a world title shot very soon in 2020.
Any final questions? No, that's great. We'll be back here for the weigh-in tomorrow. You're all warmly invited, 1 PM on the scales. I believe we're going to have a quick face-off between Paddy and Jay, see if we can get them to start disliking each other. Thanks very much again for coming today.